I don't know if Jar just doesn't know what debunk means, but that doesn't debunk the point. Just very blatantly. It's so crazy. It's so dumb. Dude, Jar just has no idea what he's talking about. It's like the most dishonest engagement where one side is held to like this insane standard. I don't know why people act why do people act like this? They're just so in their own bubble. It's crazy. Would Ethan call me an anti-Semite for this? I think yes. I get the vibe. Something anti-Semite, harassing. These allegations would be thrown my way. JustARobot, who I'm sure plenty of people remember from a massive crash out he had like middle of last year on Chud's stream, where after releasing a video defending Sydney Bear 03, he was an accused groomer, admitted groomer, who then took back the admission. He was called into Chud's stream, got grilled on it, and had a massive crash out because it was just like a total embarrassing idiot and got way too close to the person he was trying to defend in his vindication video. However, he said he would not be doing drama again, that he simply cannot handle drama, cannot navigate it, that he's going to stop that. He seems to have gone back on that because he has just released a video on Frogan and the content cop. Now, obviously, I think probably the reason...
What a Giga Chad move to jump headfirst into the most side-cucked drama ever after your own drama.
Thank you for the $5. Well, I think that's why, really. I think that's why he's jumped into this one, to be honest. I think he sees this as easy. I think he sees this as easy. Like, you know, it's Frogan. It's an easy hit. But let's see. The video is called Frogan did nothing wrong, but I don't believe that's the message. So let's have a look. It's a how long? 15-minute video, 16-minute video. Let's watch.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who? I hope you get PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. Oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD.
Wake up, Frogan. Wakey, wakey, Frogan. It's time to wake up.
Dude, how is it worse the second time around? How is this worse the second
Camaro,
time
no
around?
student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD.
Wake up, Frogan. Wakey, wakey, Frogan. It's time to wake up. This isn't a dream. This is a nightmare. Yeah, you see how cringy that is? Anyways, today we're going to be covering Frogan's response.
Okay, he pulled it back. He pulled it back. He didn't stick to it. He pointed out it was cringy. Jar pulled it back. He pulled it back. We love Jar. We love Jar.
To Ethan Klein. Now, if you don't know the context of this situation, why did you click on this video? Just go watch iDubbbz's video on H3, watch H3's response to it, and you should be all caught up. Now, a lot of people want to know my opinion on Israel versus Palestine, but honestly, I'm not a geopolitical guy. Don't get me wrong, I do love the...
Who wants to know your opinion? Wait, that wasn't a joke. That part wasn't a joke. Lots of people want to know my opinion on Israel, Palestine. Who? Who? Can you give me these people's names so I can, like, report them to animal control or whatever authority would best deal with, you know, getting people like that off the streets?
Response to it, and you should be all caught up. Now, a lot of people want to know my opinion on Israel versus Palestine, but honestly, I'm not a geopolitical guy. Don't get me wrong, I do love the
actually, no, you're right. I do want to know. No, I do want to know. I've been asking them for weeks. No, you guys are right. You guys are right. No, I want to know. You guys want to know. We do actually. We want to know Jar's thoughts on this. Who else, though?
We agree on women, LGBT, just don't look up the age of Allah's wife. Much like Vaush, I have lollygagged for long enough. Let's get on with this video.
Joke? Let's go.
This is the first time I'm ever making a solo YouTube video about everything that has happened the last year and a half.
Wow, a Twitch streamer making a YouTube video with actual effort behind it for once. Let's look at the like to dislike ratio and, oh, imagine getting ratioed this hard on your first YouTube video ever. But just because a video has a lot of dislikes, it doesn't automatically mean it's bad, so let's give it a chance, folks.
I think the content cop was great.
And just like that, I'm adding to the dislikes. iDubbbz Content Cop is one of the worst videos I have seen in my entire life. You can literally debunk about 90% of the points he made in that video by just saying, yes, but CPS was called on H3's family, and it's
Dude.
weird that you're leaving that out.
That doesn't debunk the point. I don't know if Jar just doesn't know what debunk means, but that doesn't debunk the point. Just very blatantly. It's so crazy. It's so dumb. It's actually just so retarded. It's such a retarded level of analysis. It's so crazy.
You know, I feel like Ian...
But this is the thing. Jar's allowed to be retarded. Jar is literally retarded. What's shocking is that there are a bunch of self-proclaimed neurotypical normal guys with jobs who also think the same retarded shit.
Approached it in a way that nobody else does. He approached it with empathy, and, you know, it was supposed to make people feel bad for Ethan.
Making an hour-long video on a friend you had for years while he's getting dogpiled is one of the least empathetic things you can do. But if his intentions were to get people to feel bad for Ethan...
Nah, skull emoji, skull emoji. They called CPS on his kids, skull emoji, skull emoji. That ain't right. Skull emoji, skull emoji. Nah, no way, nah.
Well, he certainly succeeded in that. People who have hated H3 for years are defending him from you and your friends. I have my own issues with Ethan, but after I saw that video, I did have a lot more empathy for the guy.
People tend to dehumanize us and forget that we're living normal people just like you.
Yeah, but that goes both ways, both for the people who are talking about you and the people you're talking about. Ethan is a real person with real feelings, and I bet he's...
So what Jar's going to do here is he's going to show an example of Frogan talking about Ethan in a way that is dehumanizing or harsh or rude, right? He's going to show us that because there's surely many examples of this.
Feels pretty upset about CPS being called on his family. By the way, I bet you guys $20 that she's never
CPS, guys, CPS, this thing that happened 2 weeks ago that we're using to justify the whole last 2 years.
To bring up Ethan having CPS called on him throughout this entire video.
So I feel like Ian approached it in a way...
Wait, what?
Real feelings, and I bet he feels pretty upset about CPS being called on his family. By the way, I bet you guys $20 that she's never once going to bring up Ethan having CPS called on him throughout this entire video.
Dude, so why is that relevant to Frogan's fucking response? What's that got to do with fucking Frogan?
Like, Ian approached it in a way that was more...
It's like people don't even understand this point. It has literally become, you have to talk about CPS. Everyone has to denounce CPS, talk about CPS. The point was, initially, this was the argument. iDubbbz is responding to clips of Ethan talking about iDubbbz during a stream that happened on the day of CPS showing up. As a result, Ethan is in an increased emotional state. He's tense, he's a bit wound up, justifiably so, because of the CPS thing. And so the fact that when iDubbbz shows these clips of Ethan popping off about iDubbbz and whoever else, he doesn't say, oh, CPS were called that day, CPS showed up that day. It makes Ethan seem a little bit more unhinged than he would seem if you included that context of the fact that he was going through it that day. It isn't actually a response. The CPS thing isn't actually a response to any specific point. It doesn't make Frogan in the wrong. It's not relevant to any of this other stuff. But these, like, total retards in the commentary community, JustARobot included, and all the fucking, you know... Apparently people are supposed to be better than this guy, who still repeat the same retarded points. A guy around just going, CPS, CPS, must CPS. That's not the point. That was never the argument. You just don't understand what was being said, and you see this as an easy point to make. As an easy response.
So, holding a friend accountable...
Ah yes, the classic holding someone accountable talking point. Yeah, I know I made a video on you where I point out your flaws to the public, but trust me, it's only to hold you accountable. By the way, one of the most annoying things about this drama is that iDubbbz's real name is Ian, and H3's real name is Ethan. Ethan and Ian. Yeah, that's not confusing at all.
And
wow.
In a softer way, and wanted to
16-minute video I'm spending runtime on. Oh, doesn't Ian sound the same?
generate empathy for Ethan. Other people don't do that.
I don't know about that. Something tells me your video is going to make me even more sympathetic towards Ethan.
I feel like we need to stick to the basics as to why Ethan Klein deserves to be criticized, and that is for being pro-Israel.
So he deserves to be criticized for something he hasn't done? Ethan is not pro-Israel, he's just not as pro-Palestine as you guys are. No, so
Well, it depends where you draw the line. Well, what do you mean he's not pro? What, dude? Like, what a stupid thing to say. So if I just say I'm pro-Palestine, am I pro-Palestine? If I say, yeah, I'm pro-Palestine, and then someone asks me, well, what do you think of West Bank settlements? I'm like, I think it's fucking awesome. If Jews can take homes, they should have them. Obviously, we probably wouldn't say I'm pro-Palestine at that point, would we? Obviously. So, like, it depends where you draw the line on what you see as pro-Israel or pro-Palestine. What positions they hold.
someone is about to comment, actually, Jar, he is pro-Israel. In fact, he's the most pro-Israel YouTuber on the entire platform. Well, then Frogans should have no issues with providing examples. The burden of proof is on her, and she's...
Sure, so there's the example of when, he said that he was going on about how amazing and diverse it is in quote-unquote Israel proper. I'm pretty sure he has said he was in favor of military action against Hamas, I think. So, that is already enough to be pro-Israel in a lot of these people's minds. He believes Israel should exist. He believes Israel should exist as a ethno-state, as in like a two-state, well, not necessarily an ethno-state, but he believes in like a two-state solution, right? He wouldn't want, I imagine, Palestinians to be given instant full rights to be able to just fucking like walk over the border and go into Israel and fucking chill. Like, yo, this isn't, you know, that's not the solution I think Ethan would be okay with, because pretty much no Israelis are okay with that. They would want like full two-state where Israel has like, you know, is able to maintain their security interests. And to a lot of these people, that is enough to be pro-Israel.
Is giving none. I'm not going to do the digging for her because that's her job, not my job. Even if you think Ethan is pro-Israel and you think he should be criticized for it, then taking his kids away is not the way to go about things. I'm not saying Frogan personally did that herself, but she's certainly acting like it never happened.
And trying to deplatform pro-Palestinian content creators.
Okay, once again, she doesn't provide any evidence or proof. There are Twitch streamers being anti-Semitic, they were breaking the rules of Twitch, and they got deplatformed.
Okay, was Ethan not calling for their ban? They are pro-Palestine. They got banned for being pro-Palestine. They were banned for accusations of anti-Semitism. But was Ethan not calling for their ban?
Ethan, as far as I'm aware, did not try to deplatform them. He just pointed out what they did.
I think it's insane to involve...
Well, I think at least there was heavy implication of deplatforming, if not direct calls to it. But he's been constantly signed on to the Dan Saltman Twitch campaign. Dude, Jar just has no idea what he's talking about.
His children.
Oh no, I think I owe you guys 20 bucks. She's actually going to be talking about the CPS thing, right? No, she just says it's insane to involve his children. She doesn't say how people are involving his children, just that people are involving his children.
I received a text asking to say something nice about Ethan, and to be honest, I thought about it long and hard because I was like, this man does not deserve anything nice from me. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Maybe it'll give me some closure. So I wrote a letter to Ethan and I read it off, and iDubbbz put it in the video, and this was Ethan's reaction to the video.
I bet you would.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic.
I just want to say I personally find that to be offensive.
H3 used to be the sports figure that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
Listen,
Thank you.
Frogan, she's so dumb that you almost can't be even mad at her.
Bait stage 3 moment. Yeah, there are some people who are just so
Okay, Jar, that's how people look at you, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Base stage 3 moment. Yeah, there are some people who are just so stupid that you can't bring yourself to be mad at them.
She did wish us the best in the end. It almost felt like the nicest one of them all.
I think she was the only one being genuine, actually.
Wow, Ethan and Neela sound like they're being nice to you. So, how are you gonna twist this into a bad thing?
So I don't want to, whatever, just Frogan, just chill, okay? Just stop being an idiot and I'll stop talking about you. It's really simple math.
Honestly, it sounds to me like Ethan is giving you pretty good advice. Ethan is just saying that you're a small creator and you're not used to this level of harassment. And he's absolutely right. You ended up crying on stream about this.
She's also by far the smallest creator
coming from
of
where?
the bunch.
Right.
I mean,
Like, it's so crazy. The double standard is just so crazy. Anytime someone talks about Ethan, it's harassment, and it's it's all coming from the absolute worst, most deranged part of the hating as well. Like, it's. But then when you talk about Ethan talking about someone, if Ethan talks about Frogan, there is no analysis of harassment there. There is, it's, oh, Ethan just spoke about it on his show. Ethan just spoke about it on his show. It's like the most dishonest engagement where one side is held to like this insane standard where you're not just responsible for yourself, you're responsible for your chat, and you're not just responsible for your chat, you're responsible for what your chatters do when they're not in your chat, and you're not just responsible for what your chatters do when they're not in your chat, you're responsible for a completely different subreddit, and you're not just responsible for that subreddit, you're responsible for what the people on that subreddit do offline. And further than that, without any evidence, actions can be attributed to the users of that subreddit, and then that chain of responsibility is immediately followed back to you. That's how it works for one side, but for Ethan, it's, oh, he just talked about you on his show. What's wrong with Ethan talking about Frogan on his show? He never called for deplatforming.
is it even, like, cool that he included her? Like, she's just gonna get more shit for being involved.
It's not cool.
And, like, it's not...
He knows what, like, this entails.
This part made me laugh because it was very tone deaf.
Really? Because it sounded like he was right on the money to me. Him including you got you even more shit. And judging by the likes to dislikes underneath your video, yeah, I think what he said was pretty accurate. Now,
wow.
Before someone says,
dislike
oh,
extension, brave stuff, thank you,
those
Joel.
likes to dislikes aren't actually accurate. Until YouTube brings the dislikes back, this is the most accurate measurement I can get.
But
okay, but you understand, sometimes an inaccurate measurement is worse than just not having a measurement at all, right? Like Nick brought up the example of the Dreams drama response, which had like a massive majority dislike if you looked at the dislike extension, but was only like 10% or something if you looked at the actual numbers but on the back end. So sometimes it is literally worse than not having an estimate.
he's acting like half of his content, nuke, wasn't about me.
No, it doesn't just show the dislike of everyone who has the extension. It has a formula where it tries to figure it out. It's a really basic formula that goes wrong every time.
Nuke. The entire ending half was about me.
Ethan more so brought her up in the final quarter, and he only talked about her for 10 minutes, mostly just saying she's irrelevant and she's also a terrible person. And judging by the clips I've seen, she is. He only brought her up because she talked about him first, and she's also a mod for Hassan. Now, I'm not going to say she's completely irrelevant, but I am going to say that she's acting like she's a lot more relevant than she really is.
Like, Hassan can handle it, but, like, Frogan's now just going to get a pile of...
It's not Frogan acting like she's relevant. Everyone else is always talking about Frogan when she's a nobody. Dude, what is this guy on about?
She is. He only brought her up because she talked about him first, and she's also a mod for Hassan. Now, I'm not going to say she's completely irrelevant, but I am going to say that she's acting like she's a lot more relevant than she really is.
Like, Hassan can handle it, but, like, Frogan's now just going to get a pile of shit on top of her that I have no control over because people are watching. Millions of people are watching his video, by the way, and they're reacting to it. And they're not having good reactions
Not
to it.
just our audience.
Far from our own, yeah.
I think it's funny that you think me being in the iDubbbz video is what's going to cause this harassment. When in reality, it's you, Ethan.
Yes, Ethan, it's you. It's all your fault. How dare you point out all the horrible things she has done. At the end of the day, she is completely irrelevant, and people only talk about her to make fun of her.
You're acting like you haven't spent the last year and
So yeah, what's this? So return YouTube dislike count. So this is the dislike count, total dislike count it will display, equals the amount of dislikes by users who have it, divided by the amount of likes by users that have it, times by the public like count.
And a half doing everything in your power to push people to bully and harass me, including weaponizing propaganda organizations such as the ADL to get me banned off Twitch because I made a joke about you not being able to say Habibi.
By joke, she means she had a racist tier list ranking people from Jew to Arab. What you and your friends were doing was against Twitch's terms of service. Anyone else would have gotten banned for something like this. Ethan has not been doing everything in his power to send his fans to bully and harass you. He's only talked about you for a couple of minutes.
But no, it's iDubbbz, one of the only major creators besides Hassan who has actually defended me publicly in the last few months.
Yes, iDubbbz and Hassan are very, very hated. If they're defending you, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? It's kind of like getting an endorsement from the KKK. If you get that, you're going to get more hate. For the entire month of April 2025, I think iDubbbz might be the most hated YouTuber on the platform.
This next section is about the double standards of Ethan's thinking. Let's get started with this clip.
Personally, though, and I've seen Hassan do this before.
Sorry, I just
more hate are very, very hated.
But no, it's iDubbbz, one of the only major creators besides Hassan who has actually defended me publicly in the last few months.
Yes, iDubbbz and Hassan are very, very hated. If they're defending you, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? It's kind of like getting an endorsement from the KKK. If you get that, you're going to get more hate. For the entire month of April 2025, I think iDubbbz might be the most hated YouTuber on the platform.
This next section is about the double standards of Ethan's thinking. Let's get started with this clip.
Personally, though, and I've seen Hassan do this before.
Yeah, they're the most hated, but they're also like some of the most popular. I mean, I don't know why people act. Why do people act like this? They're just so in their own bubble. It's crazy. Hassan is one of the most popular streamers in the world.
He's accused me of it. He goes, "Oh, you just hate Muslims." It's like, bro, can you actually please just respond to a real argument? Like, please, bro. You know, he just, like, you can't just sweep everything away by saying that. It's just not right. Are people very cruel to her? Yeah, for sure. You know, it's just, I don't know, man.
I don't know how to explain this to you, Ethan, because this is something you claim all the time, but some people are actually racist.
He's not denying that. He's saying that he's not hating on you because he's not racist personally. Obviously, some people are racist, and he never argued against that.
Ethan claims people are mean to him all the time because they're racist, using his religion as a shield to criticism, as he claims people are doing to me.
Yeah, he's saying that there are people who are being racist towards you, but he himself is not racist against you. Also, people have been racist against Ethan. Not all the criticism he has gotten was because—
Wait, he's just totally missing Frogan's point here. She's pointing out that he uses it as a shield, right?
Religion as a shield to criticism, as he claims—
So like, Ethan's sitting there going, "Oh, I'm not racist, I'm actually critiquing you." But it's like Ethan doesn't let that stand for anyone else. Everyone else, Ethan's calling anti-Semite.
Doing to me.
Yeah, he's saying that there are people who are being racist towards you, but he himself is not racist against you. Also, people have been racist against Ethan. Not all the criticism—
Yeah, Joe, I'm not tracking any arguments at all. If this was satire, it would be brilliant. Yeah, like, I'm gonna make a commentary video where I say, I'm trying to say Frogan is like the most retarded person ever, but I just like completely fail to understand what she's saying.
He has gotten was because of racism, but a good amount of it is—
a lot of the comments I get are about me being a hijabi and me being Muslim, so no. People are not more charitable to me because I wear the hijab, and I wish that was the case.
The clip you played didn't show him saying anything like that. He was just saying that he doesn't hate you for being Muslim. Honestly, you completely proved H3 right. Can you please respond to something he actually said like he just requested?
I have never— they accuse me of doing it. They go, "Oh, Ethan's just targeting Arab and Muslim creators." It's like, I have never one time mentioned her hijabi or brought anyone's fucking identity into my criticism of them.
You haven't said anything about me being Muslim directly, but your ideas about Muslims are pretty obvious from what you say. Here are a few of many examples.
Alright, finally, at long last she's about to provide proof and evidence. Let's see if she actually did a good job. She first plays a clip of Ethan talking about ISIS, but it's completely out of context. I have no clue who or what he is referring to. Then she flashes 2 tweets on screen.
Wait, so we're not even attempting to address these points?
Finally, at long last she's about to provide proof and evidence.
Of many examples.
Alright, finally, at long last she's about to provide proof and evidence. Let's see if she actually did a good job. She first plays a clip of Ethan talking about ISIS, but it's completely out of context. I have no clue who or what he is referring to. Then she flashes 2 tweets on screen.
Okay, so just to make this a little bit clearer, so Giles, like, most minor amount of research would have helped you with this. Ethan, on like October, when was this? 9th, 2 days after October 7th, obviously. Hopefully Jar can figure that one out. Ethan is on his stream talking about people who express sympathy or support for Hamas. And he says, if you're expressing sympathy and support for Hamas, then you should just be fucking killed too. That's what he's saying. He's saying you should just be fucking killed too, because you clearly think that's okay. You clearly think it's okay to kill people, so you should be killed too. Now, this is a very dumb, it's a very low IQ, emotional outburst that Ethan's having there, where he's basically just saying, I feel bad, you people should die. You don't feel bad about people dying, you should die. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. Because no one, as far as I'm aware, Frogan and the other people he was talking about on this stream, I don't believe they're actually saying killing civilians is good. I don't think any of them are actually saying that. I think the argument that lefties make is basically that, quote-unquote, resistance is never perfect, resistance is never pretty, you know. Yes, civilians died. Yes, that's bad. However, that shouldn't stand in the way of resistance. Which isn't too dissimilar to the argument that the IDF would make about why they need to kill innocents, as they need to achieve military objectives. It's just that the IDF is a much more developed, westernized military that adheres closer to international conventions, or at least attempts to maintain the image of doing so. But the argument is fundamentally similar. And so for Ethan totally misses the point and is like lashing out in an emotional way on this stream, making incredibly extreme statements saying that people should be killed for their beliefs, essentially. Which is like, you know, that's totally criticizable and as bad as plenty of stuff Frogan has said. Like, it is bad. Frogan said bad shit too. But this is pretty bad.
I have no clue who or what he is referring to. Then she flashes 2 tweets on screen, but she doesn't read them, so let's check them out for ourselves. So the left one here is completely correct. Many Muslim countries are very anti-drug, and
Dude.
I told you I would donate if you made a good point.
Thank you for the €5. So, I think obviously the point that Frogan is making here is that this is like a... this plays upon Muslim stereotypes to attack someone for being sympathetic to Palestinians, basically. That's what Frogan is arguing here. I mean, Ethan would argue the same thing if you said anything remotely comparable about Israel. He would have the same position as Frogan does. This isn't the fake Ethan account, I don't believe. This is from 2023, and it's not with the eyes in the right place in the name. Ethan, I'm not a Zionist Klein playing fucking Twitch terrorist live to thousands of people. Islamophobia on full display. I would say this Twitch or terrorist stuff, it's pretty similar in theming to the panel, the Sabra panel. I don't think it's too far off. So I think criticizing this from their point of view is fine.
And the second one is Ethan playing a game called Terrorist.
It's like not quite the same. It is not quite like tiered and essentializing in quite the same way. But there is definitely, you know, there's something we're going for here. We're going like, Hassan's like Bin Laden.
or Twitch streamer. Basically, you're shown a quote and you have to guess if it was said by a terrorist or a Twitch streamer. I really don't see how this is Islamophobic in any way.
Okay.
The next thing I want to bring up are the double standards both Ethan and Gila have for themselves. Let's get started with this.
So, okay. So I'm gonna play a game called it's gonna be called I'm gonna make a game called Genocide or Giardia, where you have to guess if quotes are from members of Likud or Ethan and Gila Klein. So, would Ethan call me an anti-Semite for this? I think yes. I get the vibe. Something anti-Semite, harassing. These allegations would be thrown my way. If I were to do that. I'm not going to do that, just to be clear. That was a hypothetical that I was constructing for you guys. But 100% that is a response I would get.
We misspoke. It didn't sound good. We immediately corrected ourselves. You know, that's how mature people do. That's how how you're supposed to handle yourself, isn't it? Like, what more do you want me to do?
I have no problem apologizing and admitting and whatever is needed when things happen.
This was in response to people bringing up how Gila said Yoav Gallant was a great guy, even though he's literally a war criminal and pro-genocide. I'm a live streamer as well. I know
we're going to tackle that. We're going to tackle Yoav Gallant. JustARobot, we tackling Gallant today, Jar?
For hours and hours on end, you can misspeak, and that is exactly what happened whenever I said the thing about the U.S. military.
No, those examples aren't similar. Ethan and Hila apologized after they were called out. You doubled and then tripled down
again, total misnomer that's being spread here. They didn't actually apologize in that video.
on what you said. In fact, let's play the clip of what she said.
I have no pity.
Walked it back, yes, but didn't apologize. However, Frogan didn't walk it back. She doubled down.
At all for any fucking soldiers. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers.
Base?
U.S. military? Who fucking who? I hope you get PTS. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. You're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't seem like she misspoke to me. Yeah, you did not do the exact same thing. If you went live the next day and said, hey guys, I'm sorry, I misspoke, I take back what I said.
There wasn't a sorry, there was not a sorry in that video.
Felt a lot of heated emotions, but that's no excuse. And you know the other generic stuff like that. It would have been the exact same thing. But instead, you doubled and tripled down on what you said, and what you said was pretty messed up.
I said it in a way in which I didn't mean, and I also clarified it on Twitter.
I want to explain it because people bring it up non-stop. I apologize for it right away when Ethan made a video to address this on his Ethan Klein channel. I
next day
made a quick appearance in that video just to say I'm sorry, I misspoke. I shouldn't have called him a really good guy. Like, I don't know why I said it like that.
What more do you want from me? I did the same exact thing.
She goes on to regurgitate the exact same points about the button that iDubbbz made, and I'm just gonna skip it. She reads out a DM she sent to one of Ethan's employees who never got back to her, and she also refers to him as a cousin, even though he looks like this and she looks like that. Yeah, I don't think he's a cousin. I think he has a bit more melanin than you.
He's still somebody I care about. You know what I mean? He's like a cousin. You know, we have that bond. We're both from Dearborn. So it's like, we're literally cousins.
Yeah, I don't...
What? This is a certified jar moment. That was a certified jar moment.
Take the exact same points about the button that iDubbbz made, and I'm just gonna skip it. Okay. She reads out a DM she sent to one of Ethan's employees who never got back to her, and she also refers to him as a cousin, even though he looks like this and she looks like that. Yeah, I don't think he's a cousin. I think he has a... even though he looks like this and...
What, you mean he looks white as fuck?
She looks like that.
And she looks white as fuck. I got some bad news for you about the Lebanese, Jar. I got some bad news for you about the Lebanese.
Yeah, I don't think he's a cousin. I think he has a bit more melanin than you.
He's still somebody I care about. You know what I mean? He's like a cousin. You know, we have that bond. We're both from Dearborn. So it's like, we're literally cousins.
Yeah, I don't think someone is a cousin just because they grew up in the same city, state, or country as me. Like, obviously, she's not saying they're biological cousins, but still, this is really creepy. Especially when the other person isn't.
How is it creepy? Dude, what are you smoking? Okay, Jar, never try to make any reads on social situations ever again.
I will say, the invalid points of criticism towards AB is trying to question him as an Arab, which is completely fucked up and wrong. Nobody should do that.
Unlike pretty much everybody else who has covered this video, I'm leaving this clip in to say, yeah, her video isn't entirely bad, she does make a handful of good points.
But don't try to take away his Arabness because you don't agree with him.
Absolute base take, and I completely agree with that.
You know,
isn't that what? Wait, but that's what you just did. What? Dude, you just did that less than a minute ago. What the fuck are you talking about? Dude. Dude.
You know, after a year and a half of harassment, it feels very calming that people are actually finally on my side.
Wait, what are you talking about? Looking at the like to dislike ratio, it doesn't seem like people are on your side. Oh my god, were things for you actually worse than this?
It's
I mean, yeah.
For me.
Wakey wakey, this isn't a dream, it's a nightmare. In all fairness, your nightmare still isn't as bad as Ethan's. Dude got CPS called on him, and you and your friends never once brought that up.
You know, after all of this...
Dude, why is it on them to bring up the CPS? Guys. It's the new... Guys, I can't even make jokes. Never forget, guys. If you forget a mistake, you're doomed to repeat it. Okay? Never forget. Okay? Very important to always keep it. You need to... CPS should be on the curriculum of every school. Okay? The CPS call on Ethan Klein should be on the curriculum of every school. We should be reminding every future generations that it's a terrible, terrible thing that happened to Ethan Klein. And that when anti-Semitism runs rampant, horrible things can happen. And that's why you need to buy a H3 membership. That's why you need to buy a H3 membership. You need to help support defamation lawsuits against Noah Sampson to stop anti-Semitism, because we never want to repeat these mistakes. All right, guys. That's why you need to... dude, it's just so crazy.
You've...
2 skulls? I'm just saying, that number seems a little inflated. Really? Two skulls? I'm not sure about that.
You've made my life hell.
Yeah, and you and your friends have done the same to him. I don't have kids of my own, but if someone called CPS on them, I would be fuming.
But at the end of the day, what I said at the end of the content cop still stands. I wish you the best.
No, you don't. You don't wish Ethan well at all. You're just saying this for PR. If you did actually wish Ethan well, you would have gone over the stuff he has been dealing with, like having the CPS called on his kids, skulls sent in the mail, and other stuff like that. Frogan,
so, say the sword. Jar, go for the hat trick. Say the sword. He missed the sword. Jar, the sword.
Dealing with a lot of backlash right now, and that really sucks, especially for someone at your size. And I would like to tell you that this is as worse as things are gonna get, but I highly doubt it is. Anyways, that was a fun video to make, but I want to make this clear. I'm not fully back yet. I have tons of super long videos that I've been working on, and they're not fully finished yet. But I just wanted to talk about Frogan's video right now because it was really pissing me off. Anyways, I would like to increase the budget of these videos, so if you can find it in your heart to donate to me on Patreon, that would be a big help. Or you could give a one-time donation to help save my friend's family restaurant. A link to her GoFundMe will be down below. Anyways, let's get to the credits.
He's still shelling this shit. Wow. Dude, what a stupid video. He's just so dumb. It really is unfortunate.